Have we potentially hit the bottom on the crypto market right now? Is Ethereum going to blast off? Will Bitcoin blast off? Who knows? I'm going to give you some clues in this video that potentially could show you that this is about to unfold. So thank you for being back with me on the Crypto Bliss community, and let's move on right here, right now. So as you can see here, the Bitcoin chart currently is bottoming out. We have the MACD and the stochastic telling us we're done. We have a very strong base case support here. And if I zoom in here, this is the most important part. This level right here, you can see what we did was we broke it, right? With this candle here. Boom, it wicked down. It touched the 100 moving average. We kind of in between, the 50 moving average. We're kind of in between the 10 and the 50 right now. And so this shows me that here was the bottom. There was a liquidity grab, and we've now got what we call a railway track. Usually when there's a railway track at the end of a move, okay, it starts to reverse. That's what we've seen in Bitcoin. It's now doing the opposite right here. It pulled up and it closed very, very nicely at the exact same level. Well, the baseline is at those exact same levels. Now, of course, we're under the 10 moving average. We closed today's candle somewhat currently even where we are. The next week, the next few days are going to get us very strongly up to this 107K level once again. And then we'll probably hover around there for a day or two, and then make a massive move right up here to the all-time high, pull back, and then continue. So I would predict that it was something like this, okay? And then an absolute blast off, okay? So that's where I think we could be heading. Woo, my. Okay, so let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. For now, Ethereum is the key target. Use my Bybit link down below, get yourself up to $30,000 deposit bonus, and let's trade together. I'm not just telling you I'm trading, I'm showing you I'm doing it. I've been buying and accumulating Ethereum at this point. Of course, I didn't do it down here like I did with Bitcoin. I did try, and then my liquidity fell away. So I took that and invested it into my Bitcoin trade rather. And right now you can see that I'm building up on my Ethereum trade. It's down a little bit, but what I want to do here, if you stay with me right to the very end, I'm going to show you that I don't just talk, I put my money where my mouth is. That is how a real YouTuber and a real investor will show you what's busy happening. They don't just tell you they're doing something, they show you. So with Ethereum currently sitting here, okay, you can see that we have absolutely and undoubtedly bottomed out. Look at the hard V-shaped recovery off of this level. We actually even came back into the undervalued territory down here at about the 1500, 1700 level not so long ago, which is of course down here, 1406. Okay, that's where we went. We then broke through the accumulate area. We bursted into the still cheap, and we're hovering in that still cheap. Okay, it's still a good time to buy Ethereum because we're not even where we need to be on Ethereum, and I have more evidence to show you why. First of all, let's draw back to crypto, to Bitcoin. Bitcoin possibly is getting an absolute scare that this could potentially look like the double top of 2021. Could it be that way? Possibly. I don't know. Could we pull back all the way down to 30K? Possibly. I don't know. If we did, I would damn well accumulate more Bitcoin at that price, my friend, because you can still see the continuation of the pattern is higher highs and higher lows. Simple and end of story. Means that over time, you will make money. All right. But of course, it's not ideal to buy up here and sell down there. It's better to buy down here and sell up here. That's just fact. Now, have a deep dive here because you can see here, shout out to Stock Money Lizards. He reckons that unfortunately the RSI divergence has not been accurate. Have a look here. And I do agree with him. We've had bearish divergence, but yet the price went up. We had bearish divergence, yet the price went up, right? And you can see here, in 2015, it actually went 10x. 10x in 2017. And divergence means top. Well, it didn't, because look at this. Boom. All right. Boom. Then we had the bear market. So that was one instance. Then we had boom and boom, yet we had a rally. And we had boom and boom, yet we're having a rally. We're still continuing those patterns. So really, in 2021, it's 1 out of 5 times. Now, if we recall what happened at that point, we recall that there was a shit ton of manipulation around FTX and everything. And that's why this had a double top. Honestly, if there wasn't any of that, and this was also the listing of the ETP, is it? No, I can't remember. This was the first listing of not an ETF. I think it was the ETP for Bitcoin. I can't remember right now. I have so much going through my head every day, but truthfully, if you look at this was told us that this was the top. That was 1 out of 5 instances. This, we bursted up. This, we bursted up. This, we came down, up and up. So what's the truth? Really, we have to ask ourselves. Here is the statement. At the peak, boom, bear market. Now, what is this sign? Okay, these are active addresses. So the active addresses absolutely smashed, peaked out. We haven't even got anywhere near any of those levels just yet, okay? Which means that we have at least 2 to 3 times the amount of Bitcoin addresses that should be coming into this cycle that will increase the Bitcoin's price very much. I mean, if we hit 2 to 3x from where we're at, about 2.8 million to like 5.6 to 7 million Bitcoin addresses. Do you know how amazing that is? 7 million people on the planet have, well, not specifically 7 million, but a good number. That would smash us right up to 350, 400, 500K, 700K quite easily. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. But really, we're actually pushing up here. Look at what happens when we push up. The market goes up. When we push up, the market goes up. It's just that awesome. Now, here is the most important and insane message I can give you right now. This is the last dip before the bears get absolutely slaughtered. Okay, this dip that we've just had, we've already had a rally back up on the Bitcoin price, right? You can see that dip, rally back up. There's huge liquidity here. That's why we're going to bump up and sit there, because there's so many people that are putting in sells at this place, at this area, this zone between 105 and 109, because people think that it's going to. And here's why. Because there is, look, all of this liquidity has been grabbed here now, okay? We've already punched back up. There is all of these sells here. What do you think is going to happen? There's going to be so much buy liquidity coming up here and slamming through those sells, slaughtering the bears, okay? Really, they are about to be slaughtered. And here's more evidence, because the debasement is the mechanism to offset its impacts. That is the entire game. Fed net liquidity in billions of dollars. US government debt as a percentage of GDP. Okay? They are so entangled, it isn't even a joke. They are so correlated at this point. The Fed net liquidity is probably going to burst up like crazy very, very soon. There is nothing else that they can do besides print money. And so currently you can see this is the weekly candle. We'll have a look at this now on the weekly candle. Let's pop that on in the meantime. But this is a huge bullish retest. Look at the line that it has covered, okay? Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Look at that level. Look at the level. In fact, I'll even draw it for you. Where's my horizontal line here? Boom, look at that, okay? Absolute smashingly beautiful. Tap down to the 786 just about. Right there, 100K. All of that liquidity sucked back up. Now the thing is that on the weekly, we're having a crossover here right now on the RSI, but the MACD is just getting going. Okay, the interesting thing is that we have a little bit of a white box here on the volume indicator on the MACD, which tells us that we could be coming down. I doubt that, my friends. I doubt that very much. Look at this zone here. We could just sit here for a moment, but honestly, the next move up is undoubtedly up into this zone right here between the 130 and the 125K level. And that is because there's a lot of 1.618 zone, as you can see here, from this move and this move here. That's just the honest, open truth about the markets right now. Now, here's the thing about Ethereum, right? Ethereum has broken out of this down sloping trend. It is currently finding some support on the 200 moving average. Look how it bursted through there, closed this beautiful candle, and has now been fighting above it, okay? The 20 moving average, the red one, is crossing over. We're under it. We've tested the 50, has pulled back up above the 100. We are on the way up. Look at this very, very, very interesting level of MACD and stochastic RSI, where we are at the bottom and looking to make a move up. This, just like Bitcoin, is a double railway candle, just about. Normally, you want to see the whole candle above, but we do have this 20 moving average, which is resistance, plus the 200 moving average, which is actually sitting at $2,460. So if you have a very much a closer look at Ethereum right now, let's zoom in, because sometimes you have to zoom in, sometimes you have to zoom out. Look at all the wicking, the buying up of Ethereum down here. Let's just say the buying up of Ethereum, Ethereum no longer wants to sit below this 2,400 level, right? We bought. Look at this. A hard sell down to close the candle below the 200 moving average, daily moving average. The following day, a suck right back up into the same zone. Currently, this candle, today's candle, is now back tested the 200. The next candle, or the next 2 or 3 candles, probably sit here, but then a bust through this level. My friends, once that happens, that will take Ethereum right now into probably this 2,750 zone, okay? Because look at all of that resistance level in that zone. It just is what it is. And I have more evidence, but let's give you the trade right now, okay? I'm even going to enter it in at about 2490. So 2490. We're going to enter in 0.03. Let's add another 4. In fact, yeah, let's add another 3. Let's add another 3 for now. Okay. I'm going to just open the long there at this level. Boom. End of story. Okay. So now I'm buying under my buy zones, and I am pulling my buy entry somewhat down. Okay. It's not the biggest of the deals, because there's really, even if I bought up here, it doesn't matter. Okay, have a look at the flag, the bull flag that it's actually coming back into right now. The Bollinger Band, it broke down and it immediately pushed back up above into the Bollinger Band. It's telling us that we are about to push through. We're hovering around this area. So honestly, anything between the median of the Bollinger Band and the base of the Bollinger Band, so i.e. 2,555 and 2,444, that's a freaking good buy area right now for Ethereum. I love it. If you're doing that, use my link down below, trade with me, and let's make some money together. But for now, Ethereum spot Ether 15-day inflow streak accumulates nearly, 840 million of inflows. That's amazing. Stablecoin legislation is to drive Bitcoin market cycle in 2025 and finance redefined. Now, considering that most of the stablecoins are actually built on Ethereum. And what I showed you in my video here yesterday, you need to watch these two videos because Circle was just listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and currently all stable coins are around 270, 280 to $300 billion in valuation right now. Okay. The article that I shared with you in these videos shows us that it will be at about 3 trillion by 2030. That's 5 years away to 10x stablecoin, which meaning that stablecoins are the on-ramp into crypto from traditional banking and financial systems. But, my friends, we can also start to eliminate using all of those. And here's why in a moment. But first of all, you can see that there's a total of 136,600 odd million, okay? The market capitalization is around 300 to 340 billion dollars, and Ethereum is currently valued at that. It's slightly different prices on different exchanges, and 1 USD is about 0.004 ETH. One BTC is about 42 ETH, 1 Euro, 1 Japan, 1 USDT, 1 FD. Okay. Now here's the price in USDT and here's the price in BTC. It's currently fluctuating over the last kind of month or so. Okay. Now the transactions in the last 24 hours have been about 1.4 million. The transactions average per hour is about 60,000. Okay. 60,000 transactions on Ethereum happening every 24 hours, just about. It currently is about 1.38% of the entire market cap. Ethereum sent 1.87 million, okay, which is about 4.6 billion, which is about 1.38% of its total market cap. Every day is moving on this market. The average is about 78,000, and the transaction value is about 1.3 ETH or 3,251. No median, the average transaction fee has dropped. As you can see, Ethereum price transaction fee has been smashed down, okay, which is amazing. 22.6 million blocks count. Block size is 91.4 kilobytes. My friend, that is tiny. Okay. There's so much interesting information that you can find about Ethereum whenever you want to find it. Just go and search for it. Now, here's the juicy part about Ethereum. Well, first of all, Ethereum Bitcoin, okay? On the daily time frame, without a doubt, how many times have we seen this happen? Okay, here you go. This is Ethereum, right? There's the base. That's happened right along this zone. It also happened with us in Bitcoin at the bottom, all the way there, right? And then we had this massive punch up. So here's the juicy of this ETH BTC chart now. The stochastic RSI is very oversold. The MACD is extremely oversold. At the most, we probably come down a few more points to 50 more points. That's okay. We have hard resistance here on the 200 above us. Look at how nicely that 200 somewhat coincides with, in fact, I'm going to give you just a horizontal line, coincides with that level. Look at how perfectly aligned it is, okay? So for now, we probably get up to the 200. That gives us about a 15% opportunity against Bitcoin. Meaning if you own Ethereum, you can gain about 15% against Bitcoin in terms of performance over the next kind of few days and weeks. Beyond that, my friends, let's have a look at the weekly chart, okay? Because the weekly chart actually telling us we're still dying on Ethereum. The stochastic is unfortunately right at the top here, and we're under the 10 moving average. But I can't see it not breaking through this next level after we've had this baseline, a massive breakthrough or candle that engulfed all of this energy here, all of these weeks, okay? Erased all of it. The next true and honest level from where we are is, of course, like I said, this level, 15%. Beyond that, it's this level right here, okay? In fact, where we go. There you go. That's the next level, okay? Which gives us about a 45% gain against Bitcoin. Wow. Meaning, if you have taken 1 Ethereum's worth, you now have 1.45 Ethereum worth against 1.45 of Ethereum worth of BTC, okay? Beyond this, my friends, we have the 200 on the weekly, which is going to be very, very, very hardcore resistance up here, which means that you could double your Bitcoin against Ethereum. Make no mistake, guys. Ethereum is phenomenal, but for me, Bitcoin is the king. It'll always be the king. It's always going to be the king. Look at how Ethereum has a very hard pump and then it drops and it sits literally down for years against Bitcoin. Why would you want to hold something that does that? It's the same that applies with all crypto. Okay, now have a look at this baseline here that truly gave us the bottom. Look at how much that support zone is. Boom, 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 and boom. So for me, Ethereum is very likely about to make its next move up. Now, here's the juicy part of all of this, right? If Ethereum even gets anywhere near this high up here, okay, that's a 2.6x on gain against Bitcoin. That up here is a 5.6x gain against Bitcoin. Could it go beyond that? I don't know, my friends. I don't know. It seems as though the value is diminishing. This was the 2017 rally. This here was the 2021 rally. It's lower highs. So maybe the rally is and performance to Bitcoin really only gives us maybe like 100, 150 at max up here. 2 kind of X, 2, 3X against Bitcoin. You let me know down in the comments below. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that is the highest possibility here that I see at this point, okay? Maybe gets up to this 0.618. But honestly, cool. Much more liquidity can come in. We could see it like a smash up here. I mean, that honestly, at this point, sounds far-fetched because of everything that is happening. But if it did, and it got somewhere up here, you would literally gain a 26x against Bitcoin. So in other words, currently where you can use 1 Bitcoin to buy 42 Ethereum, you would now need 2 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin. Do you see what it is that I'm saying? Less than 2 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool, okay, considering all of the above. Now, even though the fear and greed index is at 52, it's in neutral zone. Yesterday we were in fear. Today we're in neutral. You don't buy when you're in greed. You buy when we're in neutral or in fear. And obviously extreme fear is the best opportunity to buy. We haven't got there yet. Could we see a black swan event? I don't know. I don't have a genie in a lamp. You let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But this is the interesting part. We have been sitting since we got under this level here, 3rd of March. We literally have been in Bitcoin season. There is nothing else happening right now. We haven't seen anything else. We've seen no liquidity move into anywhere, but we have seen BlackRock selling some of their Bitcoin, taking profits into Ethereum, okay? Because there's going to be a much larger rollover into Ethereum. Are you excited and are you ready for what's about to happen? Because Ethereum is only sitting at a $300 billion market cap right now. And the total market cap is, of course, 3.4 billion. So Ethereum really is that. Bitcoin makes up for 2 of that. And then 1 trillion is all the other thousands and thousands. Let's see how many coins there are. 17,000 coins. Okay. I mean, 3 years ago, guys, and I'm saying, that's coins listed on CoinGecko. That's not even coins listed all over the crypto. Okay. So make sure you're with me because honestly, when you look at Ethereum and it's sitting down here at 1 Ethereum, okay, equaling $2,500 at a $300 billion market cap, where could we go from here? If we were to somewhat get up to the 1 trillion level on Ethereum, okay, that would take our Ethereum up to about $8,000 to $8,300. Okay, that's a 5.6x, like I've just said to you, just on Ethereum against US dollar. If we were to do it against Bitcoin, that would be a very different story. So stick with me for a moment, okay? I just want to say, if we had to hit maybe, I would say $1.3 trillion is probably the mark that I would see Ethereum get to, okay? Giving us a 7.3x from where we are today. At the extreme, it could get up to about 1.8, taking us up to about $15,000. But my friend, you can start to see that right now, it's looking a little bit unrealistic to get a 10x on Ethereum, okay? Maybe not this cycle, but let's go and have a look at this against Bitcoin, right? Scenario price, 1 ETH, okay? 1 ETH, let's say 1 ETH, let's just equal 1 ETH at 7,500, okay? No, sorry. Yeah, scenario price. So you would get a 5x gain on your Bitcoin. So if you had 1 ETH today, you'd be able to get 5x that back in Bitcoin. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you. If it does, let me know down in the comments below. Now, this is the last juicy bonus coin that I actually want to share with you, my beautiful community. So stay with me. And you can see, they there. I'm not bullshitting you. Oh, we did get into the trade. Okay. So, as you can see, now my stop loss is above my liquidity. So, under my liquidity. So, I want to bring my stop loss at least slightly above my liquidity. Okay. I don't want to be liquidated. So, if there's a black swan event that just goes, so be it. It is what it is. But, look. Buy. I'm not kidding here, okay? We are making this scenario unfold here right now together. So make sure you're subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community and let's delve into this last phenomenal coin. Casper. So Casper is a real world ready blockchain. What is Casper? So what is Casper? Casper is made for the infrastructure for real-world applications. Casper is built to bring real-world assets as they function in the real world, where ownership is layered, shared, and shaped by roles and responsibilities. These dynamics can be encoded and enforced directly on Casper. Contracts evolve with regulation, rights, and can be distributed, permissioned, or automated. So Casper can help make value move, grow, and stay trusted. So it can do real estate, it can do fractional investments, it can do royalties. Like that's really good for franchises and businesses. It can protect your intellectual property. You can use DeFi and lending services on your system. It tracks your digital identity. It helps with compliance and regulatory workflows and has a massive community already. So here is the ecosystem in Casper. I'm just going to really pull down. So here is the ecosystem in Casper. It's quite big, okay? So I'm just going to cruise through it. I'm sure there's some names you'll see here. Tangem, Upload, Ledger, Nitro, KuCoin, Casper Wallet, BitGo, Zbyte. I'm just going to go through this. Look at how many partners they have, okay? Already existing in the ecosystem. Bitpanda, Bitrue, okay? So many reasons here right now that Casper is possibly the next best ecosystem in crypto, especially with it only sitting at $185 billion. $185 million, excuse me. Look at where it's at. If this thing was to get to a $10 billion market cap, my friends, that's quite simple, right? If we're looking at it getting to an $18 billion market cap, you're looking at a 100x coin. Okay, I think it could get that far that easy. This could be your 100x coin. Make sure you are subscribed to the Crypto Bliss community. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share this with your friends and your family. Smash and obliterate and knock that algorithm right out for this channel, because as I've said to you, it has been suppressed by YouTube recently. YouTube did try to strike, but We fought and we won, just as we always do. I fight for you, my community. So thank you for being here with me. Once again, I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.